Rapper Kid Cudi took the stand at the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs in Manhattan on Thursday, telling the jury in shocking detail that the disgraced rap mogul once broke into his house in a jealous rage, locking his dog in a bathroom, and later set Cudi's Porsche on fire in his driveway. Cudi, 41, said he was in love with R&B singer Cassie Ventura, 38, Diddy's ex-girlfriend and the star witness in the case, yet admitted she played both rappers by dating them at the same time. Combs, 55, is accused of using his fame, fortune, and many businesses to run a racketeering scheme in which he controlled Cassie for over a decade, using violence and threats, forcing her and others into drug-fueled freak-off sex marathons. He faces life in prison if convicted. The trial is not televised because cameras are prohibited inside the federal courthouse, but we're there following all the action. So watch this space for the latest updates. Photos show Kid Cudi's scorched Porsche from Molotov cocktail attack. New photos show rapper Kid Cudi's scorched Porsche convertible after it was bombed with a Molotov cocktail. 6 images were shown to the jury during Kid Cudi's sensational testimony and have now been made public. A hole in the roof of Miss Cudi's porch where it was hit with a Molotov cocktail. Burned seats in the rapper's car. Pictures taken from outside the car show the convertible. Top was torn open and images from inside the sports vehicles show the red interior, blackened, burnt and melted. Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Mescudi, testified that he believed Sean Diddy Combs was behind the January 2012 car bombing because he was mad that Mescudi had a fling with his on-and-off girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Mescudi said he believed someone threw the cocktail into the car after cutting a hole in the top. The hole in the roof seen from the interior of the car. Mescudi confirmed the car was damaged beyond repair. The arson was reported to the police 5 hours ago. Photos show Kid Cudi's scorched Porsche from Molotov cocktail attack. By Priscilla DeGregory. New photos show rapper Kid Cudi's scorched Porsche convertible after it was bombed with a Molotov cocktail. 6 images were shown to the jury during Kid Cudi's sensational testimony and have now been made public. A hole in the roof of Mescudi's porch where it was hit with a Molotov cocktail. A hole in the roof of Mescudi's porch where it was hit with a Molotov cocktail. Burned seats in the rapper's car. The door of the Porsche was damaged in the fire. Department of Justice. Judge tells the jury to watch. Knicks avenge their Game 1 loss. As next witnesses lined up, Judge Arun Subramanian reminded the jury to do everything but talk about the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking case, including watching the Knicks over the weekend. U.S. District Judge Arun Subramanian, presiding at Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial, told the jury to do everything but talk about the case. U.S. District Judge Arun Subramanian faces the jury as Sean Diddy Combs' defense lawyer, Tinigaragos, makes opening statements at his sex trafficking trial in New York City, New York, U.S., May 12, 2025, in this courtroom sketch. Watch the Knicks avenge their Game 1 loss, the judge told jurors, getting laughs from the courtroom, before excusing the jury for the 4-day holiday weekend. Subramanian, of course, is referring to the Knicks' gut-wrenching 130-135 Game 1 loss to the Pacers at Madison Square Garden. Game 2 is Friday night at the Garden with a tip-off time of 8 p.m. It's typical of judges to instruct the jury to avoid any and all conversations and media coverage about the case when court is adjourned for the day. When jurors left for the weekend, prosecutors announced that the next witness will be Capricorn Clark, an assistant who worked for both Combs and Kid Cudi. The video clip released by the hotel shows when Combs furiously hitting Cassie, leaving her with bruises on the face. Cassie has claimed Combs assaulting her subsequent times, but she was scared to involve the police for a reason. She was afraid Diddy will come after her.
On charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and press last for 8 weeks. And it's sort of hard to imagine how we could have any more bombshells than what have already come out this week. Infamous 2016 hotel footage of Combs allegedly beating up Cassie Ventura. The jury has now seen that footage several times. Some of the A-list names that have come out at trial include actor Michael B. Jordan and rapper Kid Cudi, who Cassie Ventura, the star prosecution witness, dated both of those men, and so that's the context that their names have come up. And Britney Spears' name also came up because she was invited to Cassie Ventura's 21st birthday party by Combs, according to testimony. And then today, singer Chris Brown's name came up because Combs's lawyer asked Cassie if she remembered a time when Combs had been mad at her because he thought that she was dancing with this singer Chris Brown. And she said she remembered the time when he was mad at her, but she never danced with Chris Brown. We also found out that Cassie settled her bombshell lawsuit that she brought against Combs and kind of blew the lid off this whole thing and started the floodgates of civil cases against him as well as the criminal case. That lawsuit she settled for 20 million, and we didn't know that previous to this. She had settled that within 1 day of filing it back in 2023. And the jury also saw still frames of the freak offs that. So Cassie Ventura's testimony has come across, in my opinion, as credible, and she's doing that all seemingly candidly. She's talked about having, being addicted to drugs, having to go to rehab. And then some of her testimony is also backed up by another testimony as well as footage. So for instance, her claim that he started beating her pretty early on in their relationship and then had carried on this pattern of roughing her up. 2 of the times where he heard Combs roughing her up in another room. And then, of course, you have that notorious hotel footage of Combs beating her up, which also gives credibility to her saying, that this was something he did regularly to me. And so the defense is using that to say, hey, she was a willing participant. She wasn't coerced or forced into these events. And so he's not guilty of that. But meanwhile, the prosecution, I think, is trying to paint a larger pattern of coercion where if there was this constant threat of him, getting angry and beating her up, then how could any of those things that she did ever truly be, voluntary? And she did testify that she was in love with him and she wanted to please him. He was larger than life. But in addition to that, she sometimes is scared and just wanted to do the thing that wouldn't make him angry. I think another part of the prosecution's argument, which will probably have some sway with the jury, is the fact that she started dating him so young. She painted a picture that kind of demonstrated that he was maybe grooming her. They started dating. He kissed her for the first time when he threw her 21st birthday party. She said she didn't expect that. He was an executive. And then when they started having sex, she said he introduced her to things she had never been introduced to before. Dawn Richard is expected to testify. She was a member of the group Danity Kane, which was founded by Combs, and she will likely testify about being sexually assaulted by him and also that she saw Combs allegedly beating up Ventura. We'll likely also hear from 2 anonymous alleged victims, Mia and Jane. Those are their pseudonyms. Jane is expected to testify about being beaten. She dated him. She also is expected to testify that she was forced to have sex with male escorts without wearing condoms. Mia was his assistant for several years, and she's expected to testify that he once forced her to have oral sex and that he also allegedly raped her. And then we could also get some of his former employees and also some other male escorts who participated in the freak.